This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Party Loaded. It is Wednesday, the 24th of August. We are gathered here today to not only celebrate video gaming as a hobby, but also, I think it's probably timely that we celebrate this week, the World Wide Web just turned 25. Did you guys actually know that? 25
Yay,
years.
happy birthday,
Yeah.
Interweebles.
Pretty relevant, I thought. Yeah. Anyway, my name's Luke Retallick. We've got the crew all here. We have Ollie, we have Jam, we have Imogen. How are you all doing?
Hello.
Not
Good.
bad.
I am not sick, which is great.
Yeah. It actually seems like an achievement at this time of year, which is horrifying. Not good at all. I have been dodging the gauntlet like every single week this month. I think my colleagues at work have been surrounding me and needing built-in sneeze guards to just keep everybody safe. I do not understand the culture in some workplaces where people come to work sick and just refuse to go home even when they are given an out by their employers. I mean, they could be home playing video games. What the hell?
Because they want to be hardcore. Either that or they want
Yep.
to save their sick leave for when it really matters, which
Yeah.
is never.
Yeah.
Or they're just super busy.
Well, I wouldn't know. How you all doing? We've had a reasonably quiet week, I think. There's still a bit of No Man's Skying going on, but other than that, we've had the odd bit of gaming here and there. Feels like the sort of crest has passed in a way, because we're all sort of anticipating the launch of No Man's for so long, and we've almost entered into a new phase of the year. I think it's kind of like we're finally looking ahead to what the next big sort of chunk of stuff is. So, which is cool.
Time for World of Warcraft. Woohoo.
Absolutely. So, Imogen and I sort of kept busy during the week with a little bit of Mellow, and Jam joined us as well for one of the early games. So, yeah, good fun. That game's still paying dividends.
So adorable.
I still feel like I'm terrible at it, but
There was still moments where you're like, I don't understand why this just happened. I'm like, well, you played that card on somebody else when you should have played it on yourself. And
I did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the games, some of the cards in the game, unfortunately, are not completely intuitive. I think some of them you can easily misread some of the text on it, like when you're trying to buff health as opposed to
I
body.
disagree, but okay.
Yeah, it's when you reread it, it's explicit. But when you're just skim reading, you miss the crucial
Yeah,
word.
the difference between like boosting health and giving yourself actual body. I think Luke sort of tried to heal himself with thinking it would boost him, but it didn't, etc.
Yeah, that didn't work
But
out
no,
well.
it all came from listening to the Game Hugs podcast by #TampJam.
Gabby Borland himself. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And having a chat to the gentleman from League of Geeks, and it really set up a buzz in my head. And so when I jumped on Saturday morning, I was like, Jamie, let's play Armello. So exciting. And we played our first sort of public game and realised that we can get stuff.
Yeah.
Like loot boxes in Overwatch. So all of a sudden, like, we finished the game and Jamie's like, oh, I got a box, but it needs a key. And I'm like, oh, I got a key, but I have no box. And we were trying to figure out how we could, like...
Quick trade.
Yeah.
We can't
we
trade
tried
them.
that. You can't trade them.
And then you find Zool. Awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we need to play more online games. But we
Terrible.
were having trouble finding matches with people. So
no one
everyone,
likes you.
can you please play some Armello?
Well, unfortunately,
Because
it's
I
not
need
one of
them
those
matches.
Not one of those games like Overwatch where there's 15 million people potentially playing. So you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day. It's getting bigger and bigger. So they've just actually released, we jumped in at a good time because they've just released their Spoils of War chests, which will replace their wild chests, which are sort of limited edition dice skins, which look awesome because we were playing against these guys and they had some wicked dice. I'm like, how do they get those? So there's this whole whole other world to Armello that's not just playing with our friends, it's playing with other people. So now I can win against entirely different people.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
Brag.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, and I also had the game I played with Luke, I played a bit of a different character because I am sort of stuck on River. And I played the female bunny, but I can't remember her name now.
There's Barnaby and River's the wolf, isn't it? The female wolf with the bow? Yeah, yeah.
I remember, I can name probably every single other character other than the one that I'm trying to find the name for. But it was really, really good. So we did some quick sort of Marmello minus Ollie on Saturday morning.
I like the game. I just don't have it installed at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I think it's coming back. I feel a resurgence. I feel the need to play this game. So, good times.
We often all do have quite a few apps installed at any one moment, so I can understand the need to choose between a few of them from time to time. My desktop is just a trash heap of unloved games at the moment. I need to get back to a bunch
Try
of
to
them.
avoid that.
Yeah, I know.
I keep it all in Steam. I don't create shortcuts on my desktop. Only thing on my desktop is my recycling bin. That's it.
Yep. Well, speaking of games that we have been sort of dabbling with ongoing, how is everybody actually going with No Man's Sky? So what's the general progress update for the team?
No further progress.
I have made progress, but only planetary progress. I have yet to progress to my third solar system.
Okay.
I have about 7 planets in my current solar system. I think I've now seen them all, and they've all been wildly different in atmosphere. So now I've seen hot planet, cold planet, toxic planet. Haven't seen a radioactive one yet.
Ooh.
They're great.
Different. I love the variety in the environments. I'm actually really enjoying it. I had an ocean planet, and I went underwater, and I was just like gobsmacked, taking all of these screenshots because it was so pretty. So pretty. And then I saw a shark-like thing, and I ran away.
Nice.
Did you call it Durner?
I forgot to name it. Oh, and I saw this other really strange-looking 4-legged thing on the land, and it had like this really enormous ass, and I meant to name it after my sister, and then I forgot. Oh, damn it.
Wow.
I was going to screen cap it, send it to her, be like, look,
Jesus.
just for the lols, and I forgot.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm enjoying myself.
I'm sorry to say I have not actually jumped in at all this week. I haven't touched it. So not that I.
You don't even have the same excuse as me.
Well, no, and like honestly, it's not because I was actively avoiding the game or anything, or that I didn't feel like playing it. I kind of just got distracted by other stuff and just didn't end up going in. So I think probably one of the big distractions was trying to fit in as many Overwatch games as possible before the end of the Summer Games promotion, because that was a clock ticking kind of thing. So, how about you guys?
Oh, no further
played
progress
a
from me.
teeny bit, but not a huge amount. I want to be fair to the game, so I'm going to try and finish the main storyline, air quotes storyline, so I can actually go, yep, I've got the full experience of the game, essentially, at that point. Because I'll have explored lots, I'll have done the plot, for lack of a better word, and I will be able to give a fully informed opinion.
And sorry, Imogen, you were saying you've dabbled a bit?
No further progress. No,
Yeah.
I've got an exam tomorrow, so I played a couple of games of Armello after I did some study, and then again, every other time I've jumped on, it's been Overwatch, and I'm usually going to choose to play sort of group games, especially since competitive is down at the moment, so everyone's playing quick play, so I'm taking the opportunity to get some practice in while you guys still want to play with me.
Always.
Don't be like that.
Always.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
Also,
While I can still play with you.
No, I mean,
until I get ranked.
we'll always be happy to play with you, Imogen, because as will be evidenced with our main segment later this episode, we're always happy to support a charity. So, you know.
Oh, shit. It's back in bitch mode.
On a happier note, I found the name for the bunny. It's Amber.
Amber, that's
Amber,
right.
that's
Thanks,
right.
Ollie. Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, double
Amber was
bunnies
really
for
good.
life. I'm Barnaby.
Yeah. Double bunnies everywhere.
Back on this
For
again.
those who don't listen to the podcast regularly,
Hey.
Jam and I in Quick Play quite often go double bunnies, as in double diva in Overwatch. So we can double bunny and Armello as well. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tried
opposed
a rock victory. It was
as
very
opposed to
different.
double D's, which has a whole other connotation. So.
Stop
Oh
it.
my
Oh,
god.
Luke, why?
Turn your
You
mouth
had
off.
one good episode, like a pendulum. You just
Oh
swang
my God.
all the way
All
right,
right.
and now you're going all the way wrong again.
Anyway, speaking of double Ds, I did actually have a segue in mind there. Jam was hooked on a new game during the week called Dead by Daylight. So why don't you tell us
That's
about
an
that?
awful segue.
Speaking of double
word.
D's, Jam
Silly.
played this game this week.
Speaking of double D's, Jam.
Fuck me, Luke. What is wrong with
You
your
are
brain?
you were the worst at life.
Worse at life.
You need to go shopping for a new filter.
All right.
Yeah, I think your filter's broken, dude. Get a service.
You're on the fritz.
Yes, I did play Dead by Daylight.
How good
one of
is
our
it?
friends, Simo. Yeah. Oh my god. So he convinced me to install it, and I only had time to play 2 games. The first one I was just useless.
Question. Did you just play the survivors, or did you get a chance to play the killer?
Yes, so I've only played Survivor. So my first game was me going, what do I do? Oh my god, I think that's him. Okay, and hiding behind a tree for a while. And then trying to find this generator that had been described to me, and promptly dying viciously. Like, oh my god, I was so stressed. And then the second game, I did a little bit better. I was moving around a little more stealthy. Managed to spot the serial killer and avoid him. What did I do? I fixed one generator with a couple of explosions, because if you don't hit those quick time events, it explodes and alerts. But thankfully I didn't draw attention. And then I'm trying to find the next one, and this other survivor's like running up to me, and he starts trying to hedge me in, like I'm near a corner and he's getting in my way. And for 30 solid seconds, I'm going, what the hell are you doing? Get out of my way. He's going to come and kill us both. Oh, my God. And then I realized that I could heal him, and he was, like, holding this wound in his side, and he needed help.
Oh, no.
So you just thought you were a dick. You're like, no, I'm not healing you.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
And went and tried to fix a couple more, got viciously murdered again, and I accidentally left the game early before they'd finished it, the final survivors, but apparently Simo was telling me that guy was like, lol, I think Jam learned how to heal. So he knew what was going on. But yeah, it's so intense. I love the level design. It's just kind of relatively open but twisty at the same time. It's so easy to lose track of where you are and where he is.
Which killers did you face? If you don't know the names, what were their abilities? What was their cool thing they did?
One had a chainsaw.
Yep.
Is that distinct?
Yep.
Is that actually
okay.
Leatherface
The chainsaw
or something
guy?
else?
Chainsaw guy. And I don't remember the other one. I remember the chainsaw guy just because of the noise.
Did he lay traps down, or did you hear bells every now and then?
Yes, traps.
Traps. Okay, cool.
Beastmaster? Huntsmaster?
Something like that.
Something like
I know
that.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
prompt.
the one that can turn invisible with the bells is by far the most, like, just frustrating. It's like, doop-a-doop-a-doop. Then you'll hear, ding, ding, ding. You're like, what?
Oh, God.
And then a giant man with a cleaver chops
Oh,
you.
God.
That sounds
you're
like an
well,
awesome
fuck.
way to inspire fear. That sounds cool.
And everything ramps
The
up
game is
so
very cool.
much when your fellow survivors are in the distance and you get this outline of them and you can see what's happening to them. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying.
Especially when they
so
get
well
spiked.
done. Oh, God.
Like,
and
oh,
you
dear.
get meat hooked and then it's like telling me that I can struggle. I'm like, should I struggle? Is that good?
Did you basically break your keyboard mashing
time
that so the thing didn't get you?
The crouch button, I had such a cramp in my pinky finger from trying to crouch the entire time. Like, I couldn't use it afterwards. But yeah, the meat hook in the second game, I managed to struggle off it, but I didn't realize he was standing like 2 steps away looking at me doing that. And the second I got free, he's just like, smoosh. So
that's
it wasn't
creepy
very
as.
successful, but yeah, oh my God, very effective atmosphere. I was going to say good, but that's the wrong word. It's just anxiety inducing and
Imogen
spooky.
would love it.
Yeah, I'm seeing her right now,
no.
just sitting at a desk, just head shaking
Solid
side to side, going,
effing
solid, nope.
Nope, yeah. As soon as Simo posted up in our chat, like, let's play this, like, come on, party loaded crew, like, we could jump on together and it would be great. I'm like, nope. Like, there
Be
is
out.
no chance. Mimo out. Do not want to play this game.
Your
Not
loss.
interested at all. Yeah. Because it was a free weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
So I haven't purchased it yet, but I'm seriously considering it.
would
I think what would
recommend
tip me is if some more friends started playing. If we could get at
Luke.
least 4 of us on at the same time, it would be amazing.
Imogen. Just putting it out there.
Well, speaking of cool games, I got the chance to try out something during the week that may pique your guys' interest. So now we talked last week about the new mobile app game, which is done by in partnership between, I think it was Night School, makers of Oxenfree, and Telltale Games, the new game for Mr. Robot, the Mr. Robot TV series. Now, the game is called 1.51 Exfiltration. It's the weirdest game name I've seen in quite a while. Now, Mr. Robot, massively popular TV show at the moment. I know that several of you have sort of expressed interest in watching it, and you should because it's very, very good. Mobile game's totally weird and interesting. It is not like any other Telltale game. So there's a good selling point for you, Imogen.
Hooray!
Yeah. All right, so the best way to describe it, the Mr. Robot TV series is basically all about, hackers, essentially, trying to bring down sort of, evil megacorps that are, kind of dominating society sort of thing. There's this one particular corporation called E-Corp, which is the main kind of villain, I guess, of the TV show. And it's, referred to as Evil Corp by just about everybody in the show. Now, the game...
See what they did there.
Yeah. The game's weird. Like, the whole game is basically a messenger app, and it's like an augmented reality kind of game. So the whole idea is the very, very first time you load it up, you see a picture of a mobile phone, like a smartphone, on the ground somewhere with people sort of walking around it, and you sort of tap on it to pick it up, and then that phone basically becomes your game screen. And then everything that happens in the game is basically happening on that phone. So it's like you are actually, using the phone that all the action's happening on. It's just like a messenger app on your own phone. And it's super weird. Like, it kind of transpires that the person who lost the phone, starts contacting you, and at first it's, threatens to get the phone back, and then they start basically trying to persuade you to assist them in retrieving files off the phone. And then all of a sudden you're getting messages from these other people, and you're involved in these different chats about various things, and you're trying to decide how to respond to them. And then you're basically assisting them, trying to hack into people's sort of, private details, and, doing them favors and that sort of thing, because you're worried about what's actually going to happen. Because they basically leverage information that you inputted about yourself on the game app, and start saying, we can see all your details, how would you like your personal life to be fucked up? We can come in and do all these bad things to you. It is incredible. It's really, really unique. I'm enjoying it a great deal.
One of the things likes being threatened.
Well, no, it's the thing that's great about it is that it's a game that's sort of it's a slow burn. It doesn't all happen in one sitting. Like, you can literally interact with someone on the app, have a messenger sort of style conversation with them, and then you don't hear from that person for like a day. So I've been playing so far for a little over 30 hours, I think. I sort of started it really late last night, or maybe it was the morning before. And you'll sort of have these interactions, and then, nothing happens for about an hour or two, and then you get a message from something. And it could be that you get a message from like a sales service of some sort that has nothing to do with the game plot. It's just kind of, continuing that image of you having accidentally picked up someone else's phone, and you're getting all of their stuff, basically. So just, further enhancing that theme. But, the decisions you have to make are really, really intriguing. So when you're actually receiving these messages from the different characters in the game, it is very much like an SMS sort of style, where you see the predictive little speech bubble come up as they're typing a message, and then you sort of receive it a few seconds later. And, there's typos, and the messaging sort of is very human. You can tell that it's someone typing fast on their keypad sometimes, and just throwing messages at you without properly spell checking them or grammar checking them. But then you usually get a chance to respond. It's not free typing responses. You usually have a choice of 2 to 4 different options of how you're going to respond to each text, and it's kind of similar dialogue style to games like Mass Effect, or what's the other one that I was going to use as an example, where you basically have a response, and what you actually end up putting forward as the response is not word for word the same. It's kind of the general gist of. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think Fallout 4 was the other example I was thinking of. So, you can kind of hit the button and see what the response is going to be word for word before you hit send, but it's not 100% intuitive. So sometimes you actually do want to look at it and see, word for word what you're going to say. But yeah, really interesting. It's super cheap. It's only like a $5 game, but it captures the theme of the TV series very well. So if you are a fan of the show, or if you're looking at getting into the show, I would highly recommend it. I don't think it's necessary to have watched the show. I think you could probably play it and just have a very, very basic knowledge of what the show covers, which is kind of what I just described. Big evil corporation, lots of hackers. That's about all you need to know. And you kind of get introduced to anything else you need to know throughout the game. So yeah, want to check out. Very different. I think it's probably the biggest thing that appealed to me. So does that sound like something you'd want to try out? Does that capture your interest?
I'm very curious, but I want to watch the TV show first more because I'm intrigued by the premise of the TV show than anything else.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah.
That's fair. If I was going to recommend a timing for playing the game in amongst watching the TV show, I'd say if you get to the end of season 1, play the game, because I think your knowledge of the characters and the setting at the end of season 1 would be to the point where it would kind of enhance your enjoyment of the game. It's not essential, but it'd probably improve what you get out of it. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
fair enough.
Been playing a bit more of the latest Hearthstone release, the One Night in Karazhan adventure. So they've just opened up the Opera Wing this week, which is the second of 4 wings that they're opening. This one is very themed around sort of stage plays depicting sort of famous characters and fairy tales and other sort of narratives. So the first sort of mission that you do, the boss fight, is basically you're playing like a Romeo and Juliet scenario. So you're trying to keep Romeo off the board so you can actually damage Juliet because he's protecting her. You do a battle against the big bad wolf, and basically when you sort of start the game against him, he turns all of your minions to little 1/1s because they're all cowering in fear in front of him, so you have to sort of beat him down with weenies, basically. And the very last one, which was really cool, was I can't believe it's not the Wizard of Oz. So you're playing against the Crone, who for all intents and purposes is the Wicked Witch of the West, and you have Dorothy on board, and basically you as long as you've got Dorothy on board, the witch can't throw her ultimate ability at you, which is essentially the twister that takes Dorothy to Oz. So, she can hit her hero power to launch a twister at you that does 100 points of damage, which is about 3 times what you need to actually lose. And to prevent that happening, you have to keep Dorothy alive. So it's an interesting little balance there between trying to, do enough damage to win the game and try and not lose your king, essentially. So... all 3 of them were pretty easy, though. I think difficulty level-wise, they were nowhere near as hard as last week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in week 3, which is apparently like a menagerie-themed wing, which is going to... like a zoo-type thing. So, yeah, could be kind of intriguing. Anybody been playing anything else? Does that kind of summarise our games activity? Overwatch?
Yeah.
Overwatch.
So summer games have now finished. It's a bit of a shame, yeah. We did get some cool Overwatch stuff during the week, though. First and foremost, we probably only just missed out on this before we did our news last episode, was the new Bastion animated short. So,
yep.
Now,
my main man.
Good.
Bastion's your bro, Ollie. What was your thoughts on the short?
I like that Bastion has PTSD, essentially.
Poor Bastion.
I was like, wow. It's they basically went, Wily was quite good, and they didn't talk. Let's just make that, but with Bastion. And goddamn, I want to game the graphics from the animated series. Like,
so stunning.
Just ridiculously good. Like, the animation quality is just make a movie, Blizzard. Hurry up. Not World of Warcraft. Just make an actual movie.
Would you want a movie,
Make an Overwatch movie.
Or would you want a Netflix-style series?
I think a Netflix-style series would be better, but I'll settle for what I can get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think they've probably got just over half an hour worth of actual footage from those shorts now, so they're pushing up on a bit. So.
We'll put it this way, my other half doesn't play Overwatch. She barely plays any computer games, and she likes the animated shorts that I've shown her. She's watched them all as well and gone, no, these are actually pretty fucking good.
Yep.
For someone that has
one
no
was
idea about the game at all as a universe.
Amazingly well done in terms of the sound of it as well, and that's really capturing the Omnic War and everything else. Yeah. And, the flashback, but then like a decision having to be made, and really sort of encapsulates that kind of turmoil that every one of them have had. Like, the characters have had to make a choice, and it's not an easy one to make. They kind of put in this position, unlikely heroes, not dissimilar to what Marvel and DC do. They all kind of rail against being heroes initially. So I think it's really well done, and Jam and I watched it sort of on Mumble at the same time, and we're
Yeah.
Synchronized reactions.
You two are hilarious.
Oh no.
At the same
Oh,
time,
so
yeah.
cute. Oh, so sad.
I
Getting
only
me
have
all them
two
PMs.
minor complaints about the video. I loved it, but I think
Oh
there's
God.
two
I have
things that I
one,
didn't.
so I'm curious to see what yours are.
Well, I think that we probably share one. One complaint I have is that it doesn't very well explain where Bastion fits into the larger Overwatch picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my one.
Yeah, so like how he actually comes to fight with some of the other team members and his relationship with them is really not covered at all, which is a bit of a shame. But the other one I had is that he doesn't transform into his ultimate tank form anywhere during the video. I mean, come on.
He doesn't need to.
But there was other ones in the flashback that were in tank form.
Was
there
it?
not?
No,
I think
they
there
were
was.
just in turret.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
thought.
okay.
remember seeing
I
any.
thought I saw some in
I'll
tank
load
form.
up the video now and have a look.
Yeah, so I mean, I was
Yeah,
watching the whole
probably
thing and I was waiting. I was on the edge of my seat just waiting for the
What for the?
yeah, and it didn't come.
Maybe
That was
it's a
disappointing.
unique ability to Bastion that we're going to learn about.
No,
and
I don't
that's-
imagine so.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, this video is very loud. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll take your word for it.
Oh, all those Crusader armors, so good.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the shorts or you've been holding off seeing the shorts, guys, the Overwatch shorts are great, even if you don't play the game. They're just very well done, tell a really nice story, and there was more to come, so who knows, we could get millions and millions of the things. I feel like if then the thing's missing, I feel like it's almost on purpose, like there's something
Yeah.
else that he's going to link into another character
Yeah.
There is
or
no
something
tank.
like that.
It is
Yeah.
merely sentry modes.
Oh, well, I was mistaken.
Well, it's good
No,
news. That
it's
there's- It's good news that they're still
I'd
making
like to
this.
take a guess that he's different to the other ones. Like he gets altered in some way.
Well,
That's my guess.
The difference is that he's alive,
He
whereas
has a
all the others are
bird.
destroyed.
He has a bird called Ganymede.
Now,
best.
Jamie, you and I were chatting earlier about the Overwatch conspiracy theory stuff that's going on at the moment
Yes.
with Sombra. So what's the latest on that?
Yes. Well, we found some more hidden stuff. Started diving down the rabbit hole and following clues and looking at certain websites, emailing certain email addresses, and there appears to be a countdown for a reveal that's happening very shortly. And I'm excited. And while I was reading all about it, I realized that I want Sombra to be a lady robot. I think that would be freaking cool.
Yep.
That would just be the coolest. We need a feminine robot, a new Omnic, who's absolutely kick-ass with the hacksaws. But yeah, there's some theories that it may not be a playable character. I don't know. So many theories
I've
right now.
got my own theory is that, and a lot of people are on the same sort of point at the moment, is because Sombra was around before Anna came out, and a lot of people thought that the new release was going to be Sombra at that time, and so
Myself included. Sorry.
Yeah, somebody saw and has sort of had this theory that I saw today, which is that Sombra is not going to be a playable character in Overwatch, but instead will be some sort of like a Mr. Robot, I guess, like some sort of hacker that's revealing the identities of Overwatch. And so that's why Sombra's name keeps coming up, because they're involved in the process of revealing these new heroes.
Ooh, that would be super interesting.
Yeah. I've got
Yeah.
I've got big Bastion theories, I've got some big Sombra's theories, and we'll see if I'm right.
Oh, look, Blizzard have done a fantastic job with stringing everybody along on this, this white rabbit hunt. It's been entertaining, to say the least. It's been,
Extraordinary.
Yeah. I mean, they're really,
kinda
really good
nailed
for dropping, little Easter eggs amongst a lot of their content. I mean, we were just talking today about how the new Eichenwald map has a nod to Dark Souls fans by having one of the bonfires in one of the corners with the sword sort of stuck in the middle of it, which is super cool. Diablo's horns up in the hunting lodge on the same map. There's a bit of stuff around the place. But the level that they've gone to for this whole Sombra Easter egg hunt is ridiculous. There's been codes that have had to be deciphered. There's been hidden videos, hidden URLs, quotes.
It's really cool. It's the resurgence of viral marketing. So viral marketing, sort of mid-2000s became a sort of a big thing, and lots of people were using it and kind of burnt out a bit. But it's kind of cool that it's coming back and they're using it from like an Overwatch perspective, because, the initial shorts that we've seen is, do they relaunch Overwatch? And now I know who they all are and they're all in jeopardy kind of thing. So it's kind of like this secret information, and their identities and their locations are being kept secret. So it's kind of cool that a viral marketing campaign should be revealing them all. It puts everyone sort of in the world. It's just Blizzard high five. Good job.
Can I just say, whoever's job
Solid.
it is to do this must fucking love their work.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if
Like,
that was
can
your
you imagine,
job?
what do you have to do today? Oh, I have to make some clues for the internet to decipher. It has to be really cryptic and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
going to be
wouldn't be
pretty hard.
surprised if they brought someone on who'd done a big campaign and they sort of hired these people specifically because it's
Whoever
really
did the
well done.
Cloverfield stuff. There you go.
Yeah, Cloverfield, or they did I mentioned it, I think, last week of the episode before. Who knew the Nine Inch Nails album release was really cool as well, and lots of really cool viral campaigns that happened sort of late 2000s.
The one that I remember really fondly was the viral campaign in the lead up to the first Matrix movie launch. So the What is the Matrix stuff that was going on. Yeah, that was really cool. Anyway, on the topic of keeping things hidden and surprise announcements, Blizzard had another doozy at Gamescom last week, which was a reveal of the first major content patch coming out post Legion launch for World of Warcraft. So no one had any clue that this was coming. It was out of the blue, and really interesting that they're already announcing their first major bit of content before the expansion's even gone live. But yeah, it seems that during patch 7.1, which will be a few months after Legion goes live, we're actually going to get a major content patch called Return to Karazhan. So not to be confused with the recent One Night in Karazhan for Hearthstone. This is Karazhan in the actual World of Warcraft setting. You know, that game that's inspired by Hearthstone. Not the other way around. I'm maintaining that. But
Nice try.
yeah,
Of course.
we're actually going to get to go back to one of the most famous raid areas in the game to check out like a new take on it. It was a really popular 10-player raid going back to the Burning Crusade expansion. But rather than a raid, the updated version is actually going to be a smaller 5-man dungeon. So perfect for groups like ours. We can actually roll through there and check it out. But it's going to be larger than most of the other dungeons that exist in the game. There's going to be around 9 bosses, which I think... Now, Imogen, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know this much better than I do. That's probably about double what most of the other dungeons have, isn't it?
Bosses-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There is some bigger ones out there, but no, that's definitely a lot larger. But it doesn't really surprise me with Karazhan, especially with Legion is about the return of Illidan and by extension, the Fel to the world. And so it makes sense in a way, story-wise, when I saw this sort of pop up in my newsfeed. It kind of makes sense because Karazhan, is kind of central to that with Medivh and everything that goes on there in regards to the Fel and the cleansing of the Fel. It's an important place. So it does not surprise me, and I'm sure it doesn't surprise any sort of World of Warcraft fans out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting, though.
It's great.
A 9-boss dungeon would be cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll have a lot of fun with that one. There's a teaser trailer up online, and the trailer actually hints at the return of Medivh as well. And for anyone who doesn't know what he is, if you've seen the recent Warcraft movie, you'll know because he's actually in it. So he is basically the guy or the wizard who started the events of the entire series by basically opening up the portal between Azeroth and Draenor, which is the home world of the Orcs. So the invasion is essentially caused by his actions. There you go.
The alliance
cool
would
guy.
not happen without him, but also the Horde would not exist in that world without him. So
Yep. He's a fuck-up that likes to clean up after himself. Basically.
he's
Yeah.
Merlin. Let's put
He's
it
a
that
wizard,
way.
Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's got a very Elminster vibe sort of going on as well, actually, for D&D fans. He
Yes. That's a good comparison, actually.
he captures a lot of that. But, yeah. So speaking of Gamescom, Jamie's been drooling all over the Star Citizen gameplay preview for the 3.0.
To be fair, she's not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So what's going on with Star Citizen?
It looks goddamn gorgeous. So they had 52 minutes of footage from Alpha 3.0, which they hope to release late this year, but may get pushed back to early next year, if I remember correctly.
That's for backers only, isn't it?
Sorry?
Kickstarter backers only, from what I understand.
I'm not sure how access is... I'm pretty sure you can still gain access if you invest a certain amount. I have to look into it because I really want to play this game. It starts with you in the ship waking up and taking off from somewhere. I can't even remember where because pretty soon you're flying through space because you've got a video message about a possible work. You warp to another planet and then from space, you traverse through the atmosphere, down to the ground, along the ground, to this location where you can land in a hangar, jump out, walk over, catch an elevator underground to all these big rooms. And the whole thing is like seamless and fluid and connected and looks gorgeous. It's just such a comprehensive universe of, I've lost words.
It's what No Man's Sky wants to grow up to be.
Yeah, sounds like it. But this is the one where you have to insure your ships. Like, if your ship gets blown up, that's it. And if it's not insured, it's gone, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So in the footage, there was one guy flying the ship and another guy was passenger. And as he jumped off and went downstairs, down some elevators, which had, a glass window to the outside, you could tell it's one seamless world, one universe, because the other guy took off in the ship again and then casually just drifted over and hovered in front of the window. And they had shot on shot, you could see that they were capable of watching the other person, even though they'd travelled through so many different environments already, like with different levels of the structure. And, it's just stunning. And then they meet the guy, they get some more information. They casually just take off again, travel to another, was it a moon? It was an asteroid.
I think it's a moon.
It was a
Pretty
moon?
sure it was a moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say moon.
And again, just transition seamlessly to
No hitching
the
or frame rate
location.
drops. Amazing.
It's just
No Man's
stunning.
Sky.
We'll see how it goes when it's actually launched to a player base of thousands upon thousands of people. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even just the physics of, at one point, they approach the wreck of this other spaceship. And that spaceship's quite clearly lost power. It's pretty much hewn in half. The passenger on the ship from the footage just opens the cargo door at the back. The pilot lines them up and he just pushes off, flies through space towards this wreckage, eyeballing it, finds an entry point, pops in, orients himself and drifts through, and then he's just got his weapon up, keeping an eye out for any dangers. And there's tiny objects, there's torches and hammers and little objects that are, until he encounters them, just sitting motionless relative to the ship. But as he walks up, a gentle bump, and they drift so realistically away from him. Like, it's stunning. And to think that the physics controlling that tiny little object is still connected in the same universe to the original planet they left, however long ago. Oh, extraordinary. The detail and just the amount of work and passion that's been poured into it so far already is amazing. I'm so excited. I'm giddy.
So it looks incredible, and the video is long. It's 52 minutes, so even if you just sort of access it and pass through it a little bit.
Oh yeah. I was like, I'll watch a few minutes, and then an hour of my life was
It's gone. Yeah,
happily passed.
I think this is
And
going to be.
I was texting everyone, and I was saying, okay, I know you guys have invested a lot and have the good ships. I'm your crew. Sign me up.
Yeah. I originally had zero interest in this game because I basically saw the Kickstarter and how silly people were going with it money-wise. And that's their decision, whatever. But yeah, now I'm actually like, this game looks pretty good. Not going to lie.
And
because now
unlike-
it's not just...
I was going to say, unlike No Man's Sky, I think we're going to get a fair bit of a closer idea of what the game's going to be all about before it launches. And the launches are way off yet, but yeah.
The footage they showed will be Alpha 3.0. They're currently in 2 point something.
Yeah, it's alpha footage.
It's not even beta. It's alpha, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't think of any more adjectives. I'm so
Go watch the
supremely
video.
impressed.
Yeah.
Go watch the video.
Yep. All right, well, moving along. Other big stuff this week. Deus Ex Mankind Divided launched. Finally, it's a fairly hot anticipated title after the original Deus Ex did
I'm
very,
super
very
keen.
well. So you're a big fan of the original Deus Ex, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I'm a massive fan.
So one of the funniest shots I saw during the week, which I retweeted on my personal Twitter, was Deus Ex Mankind Divided on Steam, and looking at the reviews section, the reviews were listed as divided. I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. Appropriate.
Yeah, so a big part of the reason why the reviews are so divided at the moment, amongst a few PC issues around mouse speed and frame rates and the usual kind of stuff that's been happening far too often lately, there's a key bit of controversy surrounding the new game around microtransactions. So As it sort of seems, there is a big issue with a lot of the Deus Ex microtransactions using real-world money being able to sort of unlock augmentations, if you like, for the main character, Adam Jensen. So you can actually pick up things called praxis kits, which are used to sort of unlock various different bits of kit in the game, ammo, weapons, all sorts of stuff.
Skins.
So, skins. Yeah, there's heaps. But, there's probably about a dozen or so different kits you can pick up, and the pricing ranges anywhere from, $1 through to about $30 real-world currency.
Jeez.
Which, that for a full-priced game, that's pretty
So there's
scummy.
two sides to this argument as far as I understand. There's one that people go, it's microtransactions. You can use it or you don't. It's a single-player game. It's not pay to win because it doesn't affect anyone else's experience. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
The other side is, this is a fully priced AAA game
Yeah.
that you then have to pay to unlock bits for it. Now these, as far as I understand, these aren't essential to the game. These are optional extras that will just make the game a bit easier, as far as I understand. I could be wrong there. Is that the right gist I'm getting?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So at that point you go, these aren't crucial to play, but what it does set up, and I think this is what people have the issue with, is it sets up a very slippery slope of then what will the developers then start putting behind paywalls and DLC walls. Considering it's a full-priced $60 US, I should say, AAA game.
I mean, and that's the issue, really, because, augmentations, requiring payments to speed up gameplay is not a new thing. I mean, there's a lot of mobile games that are built off that premise entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty common. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. No major, PC titles like this have really done that kind of thing before that I'm aware of, at least. I mean, I could be wrong about that. But there's additional sort of rubs that are getting people up the wrong way. A good example is there's the game has pre-order and day one edition DLC, which is available on all platforms. It's called the Covert Agent Pack, and it comes with a bunch of different in-game items. So, your upgrades, your skins, your weapons, that sort of thing. And the problem is that a lot of these are actually one use only. So basically you get that bonus, you use it once on one particular playthrough, and then that's it, it's gone. So it's not even a permanent addition to the game that you've paid for. It's, a boost, a temporary boost. So, yeah, not a big fan. It's a real shame, too, because it seems like a lot of the reviews are coming back and saying that the game itself, aside from all of the microtransaction bullshit, is actually quite good.
So, it should be. Like, they know how to make good games.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if it is a bad game, for its actual gameplay versus microtransaction bullshit.
Another interesting one too is there's a mobile game that's been launched at the same time called Deus Ex Go, which is following the same sorts of theme as the other Go games that have been done, so Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go, etc., etc. But Deus Ex Go features Adam Jensen as well, but it actually has a bonus feature where if you complete Deus Ex Go, or if you get to a certain point in the game, it actually gives you praxis kits as bonuses for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Like, it actually links the two games together, and you unlock bonuses from playing one through to the other. So that's a really bizarre relationship between the two titles. I don't have a massive problem with that. I think it's kind of cool, but again, it sort of speaks to that whole, bonus content model that maybe is not going to be well received by everybody. So yeah, bit of a shame. Are you going to check it out, Ollie? Are you actually going to?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely play it. I won't buy any of the microtransaction stuff, but I'll definitely play the game.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't buy it immediately just because I had heard a lot of issues with some PC bits and pieces, so I was going to wait till the first sort of patch comes out for it. Yeah. And then I'll hop right on it.
God damn it, what is it with these PC major release problems we've been plagued with for so long now? It's getting to a point of ridiculousness. But, yeah. Anywho, speaking of playing things on PC, a few very, very quick bites of PlayStation news out this week. Seems that you're actually going to be able to play PlayStation 3 games on PC very shortly, because PS Now, which is the sort of archive game access service, is coming to PC, and it's actually going to be launching at the same time as a new PS4 wireless adapter for the controllers that allows you to sort of plug it into PCs and use the PS4 controller with the PS Now games. So, yeah, pretty cool. You'll be able to play games on PC for the first time, like The Last of Us, the original Uncharted catalogue, Some pretty awesome titles from the last generation of PlayStation. And, now that going out and buying a PS3 isn't really an option that's feasible for most people, because why would you? You can go and play it on PC, which is pretty sweet. So I don't know how they're going to handle the driver support for the PS4 DualShock, though, because, the ongoing issue with that controller is that you can actually connect it via USB to PCs at the moment, but it kind of piggybacks off drivers that are designed for the Xbox controller. And any games that interact with it still sort of show the controller scheme for the Xbox sort of button layout. So it's a little bit weird for PlayStation. It doesn't make use of the light bar and any of that sort of stuff either. So if Sony are actually going to release a proper set of drivers for using the DualShock on PC, I'll be very, very happy. That'll be a huge step in the right direction. So
yeah, I can't imagine they wouldn't.
I think it would be in their best interest to do it if they're going to continue to, push previous titles onto PC. It'll be an interesting one. So, and unfortunately, PS Plus, which is the subscription service for PlayStation sort of network connectivity, being able to do your multiplayer stuff, has just had a price hike as well, and hasn't been explained by anything other than the fact that there are changing market conditions. And changing market conditions is one of the biggest bullshit reasons you could possibly imagine. Changing market conditions could be that we're absolutely smashing the crap out of Microsoft in the marketplace and we know we can charge you for it. Basically.
To be fair, how much is the markup?
It's about $10 per month, I think. So it's a bit.
Compared to... Or it's gone up by $10.
I think so. I'd have to check, but it's not a insubstantial amount. So...
Because if it's a price jump of $10 a month, okay, yeah, that's a bit of a dick move. If it's just up to $10 from like $8.99, oh no, how terrible.
Here we are. I've got the pricing. So, no, sorry, it's for 1 year. It was $49.99 US up to $59.99.
Oh no.
So,
how terrible. That accounts for inflation.
No, that's true. It's still a 20% rise though, so it's not... Yeah.
Oh no. How dare they charge things for a service that they provide.
No, fair enough. They could have given people something at the same time. It would have been a good PR move for them to at least add some sort of value to take the sting away. Companies that have to do price rises for whatever market reasons sometimes soften the blow.
I'm sorry, the sting. If
Yeah.
you can afford a $300 console, you can afford the subscription for that if you wanted it.
Wow. King of the harshness. Nice. I like it.
Well, yeah, people are a little too self-entitled in that regards.
Yep.
I want this, but I want it cheaper. No, just pay the price for it. Deal with it.
So, speaking of paying the price,
Actually,
ladies.
this prick Ollie over here.
Ladies, are you going to pay the price for an Xbox One onesie?
Nah,
I'm considering. I don't even know what the price is. What's the price?
I haven't released it yet. So
The
these
the
are
price is your
Xbox
dignity.
onesies.
Your dignity, Jam. That is the price. Yeah.
I see. I felt for
What's
sure
that?
that Luke would buy it just because it's a pun. Did you notice that?
No, I was saying to Ollie earlier that if PlayStation got on board and released a PS4 piece suit, then I'd be totally down with that. So
Yeah, so
But a onesie?
Xbox, if you haven't seen it yet, when they were announcing or releasing the Xbox One S, they announced, at least in Australia, they will be also having limited edition Xbox One Zs. And these come in white and in black. Notably, they are obviously adult size, and I'm assuming come in a various different sizes. They're super roomy. They've got a great big hood so that you can wear your gaming headset and still play. They've got a pocket on the arm for your phone. They've got pockets in the front for your controllers. They look ridiculous. For some reason, 50% of them will come in white, which I think is just really bad idea with gamers, but it's in line with, the Xbox One S being white, I suppose. And then the other one's in black, and then you can get your gamer tag embroidered on the front. So,
oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah. There will be a big rush for these. There is. I haven't looked too far into it, but I do believe it may only be released in Australia. So there'll be some global pressure to try and nab some of those, I'm sure. I thought it was quite surprised when they said that it was going to be potentially an Australia exclusive, since we're just coming out of winter and going into summer.
Yeah.
When I can't imagine anything worse than wearing a onesie in
Summer
40-degree
hoodies
heat.
and onesies. What you do, right?
I would love to be in the boardroom where that decision was made as a fly on the wall. It's like, someone's having a chat about, okay, we're going to do this promotional sort of thing for Xbox. What's uniquely Australian? Onesies. No.
Onesies.
No, I think you missed
Onesies
the
are
mark on that.
Australian.
Maybe
Oh,
like a forehead fan to go on your your headset or something. That would have been a better choice for us who sit. But maybe, it's because we all sit in air-conditioned comfort of, minus 18 degrees or something ridiculous. So maybe we need onesies. Who knows? But
what sort of aircon do you have? Jesus.
It's much better than my heater, I can tell you that much.
We just turn it to freezer level.
Or refrigeration, yeah.
Yep. All right, well, that's probably all the news we've rounded up this week. A bit of a quiet week, still a little bit of stuff going on. But that's okay, because we've got a super cool topic for this episode, and Imogen and I actually got to the chance earlier in the week to catch up and conduct a special interview. So we're going to take a quick cut and go to that right now. All right. Now, we have a very special guest joining us on the show today. Something that we don't do too often because, honestly, the tyranny of distance makes this a logistical challenge for us because there is about 15 hours between the both sides of the coin when it comes to this one. But we have gone out of our way to get in touch with and cajole, bargain, beg, borrow, I don't know how you want to describe it. But we have Kristin Lindsay from Penny Arcade and Child's Play joining us today. Hey, Kristen, how you doing?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Great.
I don't know about Imogen, but I'm well awake.
I'm not quite awake, but Kristen makes it exciting. So
that's it. No expectations on your shoulders at all,
No.
Kristen. No.
No, I'll just have to make sure I'm extra entertaining tonight.
Oh, okay,
we
great.
appreciate it.
Extra entertaining. Whenever I try and be extra entertaining, that's when I get into trouble.
You don't you be extra entertaining?
No. I've had my fill of that the last couple of weeks. Anyway, welcome and thanks a lot for making the time. It's great to pull you out of your busy schedule, sort of doing all the good work that we're going to talk about tonight.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, I want to kick off our interview with one very, very important question, which I'm sure that anyone who's familiar with your work will want to know. What colour is your hair right now?
That is just a very good question. And yes, it's currently purple with green stripes.
Nice.
Thank you.
There you go, Imogen. The bar has been set at PAX
so
Oz this year.
Yeah, my hair used to be purple, but it's hard to maintain with my day job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, see, I'm very fortunate that Penny Arcade and Child's Play are extremely tolerant of my ever-changing hair. But yeah, it's been pretty much every color at some point. But I think that in my old age, I've kind of settled on purple as my preference.
I love that. In your old age, you've settled on purple. Oh no, yeah, you haven't ever approached a mood sort of approach with it, where people around you can tell how your day's going based on what color you have.
That's just based on my hair. It's like a mood ring.
Yeah. No, awesome. All right. Well, obviously you do a ton of stuff over in the US with regards to Child's Play and sort of Penny Arcade in general. So that's of course why we've brought you on to chat today. But first and foremost, like most of the crew over there, you are a gamer at heart, from what I understand. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I am. Yes.
Yeah. And as we are a video games show, I think it's probably only right that we ask you, just to kick things off, what game are you playing or passionate about at the moment?
Sure. I just jumped back into World of Warcraft not all that long ago.
We're going to get on great.
Yeah. I've been taking a break, but with Legion coming up, I wanted to get ready for that. So when Warlords of Draenor launched, I jumped back on that ship, and so I'm doing the WoW thing again. And then No Man's Sky is actually, I know that this is possibly a contentious opinion, but I've really been enjoying it. So I'm kind of using No Man's Sky as like my daily cooldown, and then I kind of, when I feel like some serious gaming, I get in with my guild and we do some World of Warcraft.
Nice. And Alliance or Horde?
We play Alliance.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah,
okay.
So I've been a dwarf since launch, since Vanilla WoW, when the game very first came out. I was the only female dwarf on our server for years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I actually tried. I've tried to play Horde, and I actually did a race change just to see what life was like as a not dwarf for a while. But no, I changed it back. I'm a dwarf at heart.
Fair enough. Well, I guess with the Burning Legion threatening all of Azeroth, we can band together for the sake of the entire world.
Absolutely.
No,
For Azeroth.
Only hope.
For Azeroth, that's right. Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, so you've obviously been with Penny Arcade for a while. So,
Yes.
do you want to give us a bit of a rundown as to how that sort of got
Sure.
started and stuff?
Yeah, I've actually been with Penny Arcade since 2003. So I'm one of the first. I think I was the 5th employee overall. So I'm one of the first people to come on board. I originally came on board to help with the staff management for PAX. So I still do that to this day. I hire and manage all of the enforcers that work at all of our shows. And in 2005 was when Child's Play, the nonprofit arm of Penny Arcade, was really sort of starting to roll, and we wanted to make it sort of a year-round affair, and it needed someone to do some full-time management on that, so I took over the Child's Play project as well. So for Penny Arcade, I'm the staff manager, and for Child's Play, I'm the foundation coordinator, and those are the 2 hats that I wear.
Great. So has your, I mean, obviously volume has changed, I'm sure, over the years, but has
Yes.
anything else really significantly changed in your...
Well, I think that in terms of what sort of evolved Child's Play is really has changed so much since we first began, because I mean we're just gamers, and no, we didn't go into the Child's Play idea with any kind of expertise in nonprofit or philanthropy or anything like that. The original Child's Play, it started off as just a toy drive. Gabe and Tycho from Penny Arcade in 2003 decided that they wanted to do a toy drive for their local hospital, which was Seattle Children's Hospital. And they put out the call in November of 2003, and by the time the holidays rolled around, they had managed to amass about $300,000 worth of toys, which was crazy. It was ridiculous, and we were wholly unprepared for that kind of volume. But really realized very quickly that we were on to something, and we had to keep doing this, and we had to expand the network and be able to help more facilities. So the next year we had 5 partner hospitals in the U.S., and then the year after that we had 10, and it just sort of grew and grew and grew, and now we have over 110 partner hospitals across the U.S. and the world. There's 3 of them so far in Australia, and we're working on a couple more. We're really trying to get some facilities in Melbourne on board. We've done some visits there when we go down for PAX, and we're really excited to be always expanding the Child's Play network. And over the years, we really picked up a lot more understanding of what we were doing and the impact that toy donations make for children in children's hospitals. That was just an absolute education from scratch for us. We had no idea the power of play, the therapeutic value that kids have when they're using recreational software in the hospital. So we've learned so much from clinicians and from donors who are familiar, and it's been a really awesome learning experience.
Nice.
Great. I like that you call it recreational software. I might put that in my daily vocabulary.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it covers a lot of things. It's, not everything is strictly what we would think of as a video game, but things like there are a lot of iPad apps that have a lot of value that I don't know that people would necessarily call games, but communication suites or music software or all sorts of things that can really distract and entertain patients.
I was just going to ask, obviously, I mean, both of us are big Penny Arcade fans, so that's obviously why we wanted to speak today. But one thing that I do quite religiously is listen to the Penny Arcade Stuff podcast, and in the most recent one, I noted you have a new team member. And at this moment, how big is the Child's Play team?
The Child's Play team is 3 of us. It's myself, Eric, and Travis, who's our more recent addition. And it's just us. That's it. The 3 of us do all the day-to-day management of Child's Play, and we just wrapped up the 2016 Gamers Give Back Tour, which we had been doing in partnership with another video game-based charity called Game Changer. So that was the 3 of us trading off on all of those particular stops. And in the last year, we've done 30 hospital visits all across the U.S. So that kept the 3 of us really hopping. Yeah, it was absolutely an incredible experience, but certainly a lot of travel racked up between the 3 of us.
I bet. It's one of those things, I mean, I myself, my day job is working for a not-for-profit. as well. And I think that you do a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's nice to sort of go out and actually interface with the people who are benefiting from it. So I can imagine that was quite an emotional sort of journey for you all to go on and visit those hospitals and get to meet the recipients of some of the...
That is exactly it. Absolutely. Child's Play, as we mentioned, is over 10 years old now. And this was the first time we'd ever gone out and tried to meet as many of our partner facilities as we could. We've had the opportunity to meet a few of them over the years, but most of our communication is just all done by email and telephone. So this was the first time we had to put faces to names and actually see the benefit of the games and the impact that the donations have in the children's hospitals. And it was a really powerful experience. So we're going to keep doing them. We've committed to do another tour in 2017. And it's definitely going to be a priority for us going forward, because getting to meet everybody and meet the families and be able to deliver donations in person to all over to hospitals all over the place was really important for us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Building relationships being such a big part of it, I can imagine the lack of face-to-face would be a huge downside after a protracted period of time. So it sounds great, being able to finally sort of make those connections up front. And this is the sort of reason why we love the fact that you actually are able to come over to Australia and meet us from time to time as well, which is great.
That's been marvelous as well. Going to Australia every year has definitely been a highlight for me from both the Penny Arcade and the Child's Play side.
Yeah, nice. So what about your day-to-day? So you've obviously got a lot to take care of when it comes to Child's Play, and on top of that, you're a mother as well. What takes up the majority of your time when you're trying to balance both of those aspects of your life, and how do you balance it?
I'm not sure that I do balance it particularly well, I have to say. I'm sort of working probably around 20 hours a day, just sort of constantly at a low level. But pretty much everything I do is just email, online based. With the staff management on the Penny Arcade side, and then the hospital liaisons on the Child's Play side, it's largely just email and that sort of communication. But a lot of email, a lot of talking to people, a lot of getting to know people. I love my job so much on both sides. I really do, because I'm a people person, and that's pretty much what my job boils down to, is just people. So it's a real joy to be able to do. And with Penny Arcade, and we get to set up these really fun shows, and then go to the shows and meet everybody and have a lot of fun. And then with Child's Play, I get a lot of feeling like we're really accomplishing something really important, and we're making the world a better place. So it's very, very fulfilling.
Sweet. So people being, a huge driver behind everything that goes on, and, obviously working with people and liaising with people, and people putting themselves forward to volunteer, to assist and that kind of thing. When people actually put their hands up and say, hey, I've got a location, I would like to talk to you about how Child's Play could possibly support that location, like at my local hospital. How do you go about seeing, if that can happen, or to get the wheels in motion?
So anyone who wants to suggest their local hospital, or a hospital that wants to get involved, they can go to our website, childsplaycharity.org, and go to the FAQ page and the About page, and there's ways that you can contact us there. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty straightforward. We need to just have a conversation with the hospital to find out what they need and what needs of theirs we can address. And there's a little bit of paperwork that has to be done. We need an application from them, and they usually have some sort of bureaucratic process on their side. And then it's essentially just a shipping address that we can send donations to, and it doesn't take much time at all. And we'll put them on our map and get a wish list set up for them. And then it's just encouraging people to visit those wish lists and donate.
Nice. And I would assume that a lot of this sort of, works well when there's people on the inside of those hospitals that are willing to sort of take the time to respond to that correspondence and actually, can see the benefit of what's going on, rather than just, viewing it as, yet another bureaucratic task that they have to do in their jobs. Is that?
It certainly does help. Yeah. And most hospitals have some sort of foundation that manages philanthropy for them. And when we're dealing with those foundations, there's not always a guarantee that they're going to have any sort of idea of the gaming industry or video games or the value of them. But hospitals also have most of them have play therapy staff, or child life staff, as it's called in North America. And those are the professionals who are responsible and tasked with the emotional well-being of patients in the hospitals. And it's a really fascinating medical field, actually. They're highly trained in the power of play, and there's a lot of not only therapeutic value for a lot of video games, but just the things like compliance to procedures and stuff like that. A kid that's playing a video game is more compliant with, let's say, chemotherapy or dialysis or what have you, than a kid who's just sort of sitting there. And they know all the tricks. They know all of the tricks to how they can distract kids or get their mind off pain or keep them company when their parents aren't able to be there and things like that. So those are your play therapy staff. Play therapy staff in general have a very healthy appreciation of video games or any kind of recreational activities, whether it's arts and crafts or coloring books or toys or whatever. And they're definitely the ones who are very excited to see video games come in. And when we can get the play therapy staff on board with the hospital process, it always makes things smoother.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I always enjoy a bit of play therapy myself after a really tough time. No.
Well, we do it as adults without sort of realizing that we do it, but like I mentioned earlier that sometimes at the end of the day I'll sit down and I'll play No Man's Sky for 20 minutes, and that sort of like steps my brain down. It's calming and soothing.
Yeah.
Well, those are actual values that video games can have. That become really critical in traumatic situations like being hospitalized.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of my work is actually to do with engaging people using games more in a learning sort of capacity, and just for increasing the engagement tools that you've got available to get a message across to somebody and actually getting them wanting to open up and speak and contribute in groups, I think is huge. So I can totally understand how those could, the power of play could overcome some of the social awkwardness and anxiety, as well as, some of the more serious stuff that a lot of these people are facing, overcoming serious illnesses or injuries and things like that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, what about any challenges that you might have faced when you're trying to gather support or get Child's Play out there in new locations? Have there been any particular areas or regions that have proven to be difficult to sort of work in, whether logistically or for other reasons that you may not have anticipated when you sort of moved into those areas?
That's a good question. Actually, interestingly, Australia was sort of a hard one to kind of break into, simply because, particularly in the early days of the program, so we're talking in 2005, trying to find a retailer that had a wish list system that it didn't exist. The way that we work in the U.S. is we use Amazon. And Amazon has this wish list capability where you can create a gift list, and people can go and buy things off of that list and have it shipped to that facility directly. So, it needs to have the feature where we can add items to it on a wish list, and that it'll ship things to a third party address that isn't attached to either the buyer or the seller.
Sure.
And that platform just didn't exist in Australia at the time, and we actually had a retailer try and build one for us, and it worked for a year, and then the staff who had been responsible for maintaining it moved on, and we weren't able to get the retailer to just continue to support that. So that was a tricky one. We couldn't. Amazon.com in the States didn't ship to Australia. We have that. The regional locks on games and things like that. So it wasn't, simply wasn't going to work. Yeah. So for a long time, to this day, they're largely supported by cash donations only, simply because we don't have the functionality of being able to ship games that will work in Australia that are PAL compatible, through the Child's Play program. So we kind of have to just send them money instead, and they have to buy the games locally. But that's just, those are hurdles that we've had to overcome. So Australia has been a bit of a difficult market to serve or area to serve. But getting in there and actually being able to visit those facilities when we go over in the fall every year for PAX Oz has definitely helped sort of building those relationships and making it a little more easy to overcome those challenges has been great.
And every year we go to PAX just always astounded by sort of the feedback and the love and everything that's like pushed out by the community. One massive thing that this year will be a big change for our group coming over from Perth is we're all making the effort to be there for the Child's Play quiz night. It was a really great night last year, and it's something that happens every year ahead of PAX Australia. It's really kind of the community and everything that is why we love PAX here in Australia, and I'm sure it's a big driver for you as well. Is there anything that surprises you anymore in terms of what the community can achieve?
The only thing that continues to surprise me is that nothing surprises me, maybe, because we really do. I think at one point early on, Gabe referred to it as sort of turning like a charity Death Star, and I kind of always think of that analogy, that it's just like this huge, all-powerful force of good, and it kind of looms over a particular subject and just annihilates it with wonderfulness, and that's kind of what the Child's Play is. We ask people to donate and support the cause, and they do in just incredible amounts. So I don't think I'll ever get used to it, because I'm humbled by it every time. But it doesn't really surprise me when something like the auction night or the trivia night, and also we had an auction at PAX Oz last year. Just an hour-long auction during the show, and I can't remember, it raised over $13,000 if I remember correctly. Like, it was just a ridiculous amount of money in an hour. Like, it was insane, but people just wanted to help out, and they were so excited to be part of it. And I mean, we had really great support from all the exhibitors who were there. They were just pulling out, like, I think there was a copy of Fallout 4, the really cool one that came with the Pip-Boy and everything. And I mean, the game hadn't even been out at that point, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, everyone wanted to help from every side, whether it was the community or the developers or whatever, and just absolutely amazing support. So that I mean, like I said, it doesn't surprise me anymore, but it's definitely something to behold.
Indulge me for a minute. I've got this great vision that I'm having right now of you standing up on a stage at a charity auction, sort of, opening up with just witness the power of this fully armed and operational battle charity.
I should actually open the next auction that way. I think I'll do that.
Absolutely,
yeah. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Battle charity.
Just stay off any dialogue involving Bothans dying to bring you these toys.
Yeah. One now. I don't think so. I don't go there.
No.
It's absolutely nuts. I mean, for me, the more I become involved with Penny Arcade and the forums and everything involved with that, just the Cookie Brigade as well, I think is just astounding. Especially, I mean, if you've been standing in a line, and this happened to us last year where, we were running to and from things, and they just walk past a Cookie Brigade. You're like, quick, I need sugar. I'm going to pass it out.
I have so much.
Take all my money. Yeah.
It's the most brilliant idea anyone has ever had, which was, okay, we're going to just make cookies and sell cookies. And Cookie Brigade continues to fascinate me because so many people contribute to that effort. And whether it, I mean, obviously you see the people at PAX walking around selling the cookies, but then, behind them is this veritable army of bakers and suppliers and because there are people who make the dough and people who bake the dough and people who ship the dough. Like, it's so crazy how much the logistic challenge that the Cookie Brigade is. Yeah. I love them so much. They are absolutely the best. And it's just such a joyful way to do a fundraiser, I think, because who doesn't love cookies?
I have a rule about that. Yeah. If you're in a queue for over an hour and a nice person comes up and offers you cookies, you say yes.
Yeah. You say yes, exactly. Take my money. Yeah. For those who haven't been to PAX in the States or here, the Cookie Brigade are, like Kristen mentioned, they're just a group of people who volunteer a lot of their time and their amazing expertise to make some amazing cookies. We're talking all gaming themed. I think I had a really awesome little Space Invader last time, and I had a chat with one of the ladies who was selling them last time about how she made them and everything else. And they come out and they walk around the show and they sell them with all of the proceeds going back to Child's Play. So it's just a really nice thing to do. It will save you in a line.
Absolutely.
When you can't leave, when you're lining up for anything else. So anyone who's going to check out PAX Australia, make sure you hunt down the Cookie Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
They are always great entertainment. And every single time they're a highlight of my PAX for sure. As well, it's a nice way. Yeah. It's another extension of the pins from in PAX. So it's a way to get to talk to somebody else, because sometimes that barrier can be difficult as well to do. And a lot of people go to PAX either by themselves or in small groups. So it's a nice way to talk to other people as well in the line, and everyone's enjoying their cookies together, and it's just really fabulous. It's I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, working with the same sort of background. What other interactions does Child's Play have with other gaming charities? Do you have any obviously you have a lot of interaction with foundations within hospitals, which sometimes are charities in their own right. Other than the Gamers Give Back, is there other things that you collaborate on?
Gamers Give Back has been the big one, where we've been working with Game Changer, and that's sort of one of the big ones. We do a lot of grants for other charities. In addition to the main programs, which you can see on our website, which are the Amazon, the largest being the Amazon gift wish list program for hospitals. We have a lot of other ways that we distribute Child's Play donations, and one of those is through a grant program. And other nonprofits or of all sorts, whether they're schools or shelters or day programs, research programs, all sorts of nonprofit entities can apply for Child's Play grants. If they have any sort of connection to children's welfare through video games, we'll consider them for a grant. So we've actually worked with dozens, if not hundreds, of small charities all over the world to try and help them develop some sort of video game content or program. So, I mean, there would be too many to list. We work with them all the time. I'm just trying to think of we just approved a bunch of them this week. One was for actually a theater group in the United States that wants to use VR games to encourage children to be active. And another one was, I'm trying to think, what was the second one for? The other one was a children's library who wanted to bring in board games and do an after-school board game program. And they were doing it with the intention of encouraging literacy and numeracy in their local area. So all sorts of applications of games, whether it's physical or educational or what have you. We have provided video games to crisis shelters. We have a huge domestic violence shelter program as well. We've provided games for there's a day program for autistic children that we just gave a grant to. It's all over the map. We've worked with nonprofits in every sector basically.
That's awesome. That's just really great to hear.
Yeah. I was
really exciting.
I was digging back through the archives of the old Penny Arcade TV series recently, sort of knowing that we were going to be chatting to you, and came across the old episodes on Child's Play that were done sort of way back in, must have been about 4 or 5 years ago now. And during those episodes, I actually noticed that it was around the time where the Wii was sort of the big thing, and obviously with a console being as revolutionary as it was with encouraging the play with movement and actually interacting with the console in a totally different way. There's great applications when it comes to kids sort of in recovery or being able to physically sort of get back into the swing of things and that kind of thing. Now, with VR sort of on the horizon, do you see that as something that's actually going to be a focus for some of the future Child's Play activity, interacting with people virtually? Is that something that has been on your radar, or is it kind of just organically happening?
100%.
Yeah.
We've actually sort of made a commitment to researching that and working with some charities that are looking at that. There's a children's hospital in the States called CS Motts, And they're doing a lot of work right now. They're in Michigan, and they're doing a lot of work on looking at VR and its applications to children's medicine. And we're going to be working fairly closely with them coming up over the next year to see what we can, how we can help them with that, providing the equipment or, providing anything we can do to help them out. It's definitely something that we're really excited about. The digital media manager there applied for a grant to develop some softwares, some iPad apps that he's going to use to lay the foundation for that sort of research. Cool. And we're excited to see what comes out of CSMOTS, because they're really focused on looking at VR and children's welfare. And they actually have a stream that they do sometimes on Twitch TV, which is Game Start Studio. That's the name of the group that they have that's using VR in children's medicine. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, check out Game Start Studio, because they stream. I don't know how often they stream, but they've got some really incredible software. We've talked to some people at Microsoft in Redmond, because they've got Minecraft on VR right now. Yep. And where we've seen kids exploring the virtual Minecraft, and kids who are normally isolated or bedridden or what have you have had this opportunity to play Minecraft and to sort of get some escapism out of it, and that's been really valuable there. So it's pretty powerful when you see it, when you see kids who, we actually, I can't remember, watched a video, and I don't remember whether it was through Game Start Studio or not, but where they a child who wasn't able to use his arms, they'd actually taped the VR controllers to his arms, and he couldn't use his hands, so they taped the controllers on, and he was able to still use his arms and move them around, and was actually getting like a pretty high degree of rehabilitation out of that, because he was moving his arms around in ways that his physiotherapist wanted him to do, but that he wasn't willing to do, but once he was in the VR space, he was completely happy to move around and do it. So that was really, it's really heartwarming to see that.
That's awesome.
Is there anything that Minecraft can't do? I don't. I'm actually working with it at the moment. I work in helping students in sort of disadvantaged schools with sort of educational outcomes. So we use the Minecraft coding through Microsoft quite a bit. And it's just fascinating how they learn without even realizing that they're learning some quite in-depth sort of coding and everything else. It's fascinating.
Exactly. It's pretty impressive. I see it with my own kids. My two sons are 6 and 9, and my 9-year-old has a neurodevelopmental disability. And video games have been a huge part of his life and addressing his challenges ever since he was born. So I see a lot of that sort of thing, and I see with Minecraft, it really, his spatial awareness, his puzzle solving, his there's a lot of value I see in those games. So I love evangelizing it, because it's made such a difference in his life, and I know that it makes a difference in the hospital settings as well. So I'm always the first to jump up and say that these games have value.
Yeah. Now, you were sort of saying before that Child's Play often receives donations of both money and goods of various different sorts, depending on sort of where they're coming in from. What is the strangest or the most difficult to deal with donation that you've ever received? And I'm assuming it would be a good of some sort. So I've seen over the years you've had some pretty wild and wacky items at some of the charity auctions. But is there something that stands out in your mind as being like a totally bizarre one to deal with?
We pre-screen them fairly aggressively, so we've never sort of ended up with something in the warehouse that we're all kind of looking at with question marks over our heads. Let me think. We do end up with it because we do the charity auction. We do a huge charity auction once a year in Washington in December, in early December, and we're always looking for rare or unique video game memorabilia for that. Yep. And sometimes things come in that are just they're huge, like by which I mean in dimension, not exactly. that you'll have, and I'm trying to think of what it was. We had something a couple of years ago that was essentially some art that had been done from a particular video game on a wall. Like they'd done some sort of demonstration somewhere, and one of the game artists had painted something on like literally a wall, and they gave us the wall. It had been a temporary installation, so it was like this, it was drywall and carpentry, and it was massive.
There's your line for the next auction: Child's Play, breaking down walls, bringing gaming to you.
And it was, it was part of the auction, and someone. It was really cool. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember looking at it thinking, we've got to ship this now. Like, it was so huge.
Good God.
And it's heavy. So sometimes we end up with logistical challenges regarding the donations. But in terms of, like, we've never had something, really egregious show up, and we're sort of going, what are we going to do with this? That sort of thing hasn't happened to us. Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, someone's going to listen to this now and try and upstage that by donating something ridiculous.
I don't even want to know what's going to arrive in my mail now.
A whole house.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, I mean, it's been many, many years now. And I mean, even post-dating the time where, from what I understand, you were kind of the enforcer mum before you even started working with Child's Play officially and getting involved that way. Yeah. So
Still my hat as well that I wear.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess you could never stop being a mum, really, could you? What's your favourite memory from the whole time that you've been involved with Penny Arcade? I know it's a kind of cruel question to ask, but if you had to highlight something that you will sort of take away from this time of your life and forever hold dear, would there be something you could pick out of that?
There are a lot. Geez, that is a really tough question. It would be very hard to pick.
I'm not going to put a gun to your head.
I mentioned before I'm a people person. So many of my best memories from PAX are about the Enforcers and getting the honor of carrying that banner and putting that team together is a highlight for me every year. They regardless of the show, whether it's in Melbourne or Boston or Seattle or San Antonio, there is universally an effort at every single show by the Enforcers to see if they can make me cry, and it's actually not that difficult, it turns out. But they usually we have an after party that we do with the Enforcer staff at the end of each show, and we usually do a thank you speech and get the opportunity to stand up and give them a round of applause, and they always try and flip that around on me, and it makes me cry every single year. So that it's sort of the PAX West that's coming up is our 25th PAX. Between all of them. So this is going to be the 25th show that we're just about to have. We load in less than 10 days.
Wow.
And so I've had, 24 opportunities for the Enforcers to shower me with love while I'm trying to shower them with love. And it's always a very emotional experience. So those are sort of the memories that I always take with me throughout my day-to-day, because they're just fantastic. And that's the best part of my job.
And after all those 25 shows, I know that so many of those Enforcers you've known now for all of those shows. I know some of them sort of travel around and try and do as many as possible as well. So it's just
it is. It's
astounding.
Insane. It really is. The first PAX was in 2004. We've got 12 years and 25 shows behind us now. And a lot happens in a lifetime in 12 years. So there are Enforcers that I knew as young men and women who now have families, and it's definitely been a real evolution of a lot of really awesome people.
Yeah. All right, well, with PAX West coming up in 10 days' time, we won't keep you for too much longer because we know we're going to be super busy getting ready for that. But the all-important question that we want to probably leave on is, are we going to see you at the 4th PAX Australia this year? Are you coming down?
Yes,
awesome.
I will.
Hooray!
Very excited. excited. We were actually just dealing with our airfare, our flights just this week, and I will certainly be there. And I'm going to be at the auction that we're going to do, I think, on Saturday. And we're going to be, we have Child's Play merchandise now that we developed this year, and we're going to be selling that at PAX Oz as well. So I'm very excited for those things, and I hope to see as many people as possible.
Awesome. Well, we will be sure to catch up with you, and I promise that if you cry, it will not be my intent.
I'll cry for anybody. I really will. I'm such a sap.
Nice. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us on the Today's Show, Kristen. Are there any last call-outs that you'd like to throw out there? Where can people sort of go to see what you're up to and what Child's Play is doing?
For Child's Play, you can go to childsplaycharity.org, and on the About page there, you'll find all of our contact info if you want to drop us a line about getting your local hospital involved, or how you can support or donate, or what you can do to make a difference. That's how to reach us. And if you wanted to reach me about enforcing or PAX Australia or any of those things, my contact info is on the Penny Arcade main page. If you click down near the bottom where all of our little Twitter avatars are, you can reach me through Twitter. I'm very responsive on Twitter.
Sweet. And I'll chuck a couple of links to those on the show notes as well. Make it nice and easy for everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Kristen. Been awesome having you, and we'll see you at PAX.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Thank you
Luke.
so
It's been
much.
a pleasure.
All right. I think that is a wrap. That's the show. How's everyone feeling?
Good.
Oh, that interview, man, really took it out of me. It was intense.
Time travel's tough, man. Tough.
Oh, look.
Black shits.
I have been checking into Sombra and my timing was off. We have another 6 hours to the reveal the Skycoder thread on the BattleNet forums.
Ah, boo.
Is it 6 hours?
Not
and
going to stay up that
counting down.
long. Not
No,
gonna
no,
lie.
no, me either. But I'm guessing tomorrow morning there'll be fun new stuff.
Exciting.
Cool. Or it
I
could just
fully
be
expect the WhatsApp chat to be nicely filled with stuff.
going off tomorrow morning. It could just be the launch of the next new clue on the giant, rabbit hole hunts.
I really hope it is. Like, by the way, this big announcement is the next clue. Like,
Psych! Yep.
that will be hilarious.
All right, well, tune in next week for the conclusion of this thrilling tale. We'll tell you
dun.
how it all turns out. Yep. But in the meantime, you can hit us up at all the usual locations. So email us at mail@partyloaded.com, facebook.com/partyloaded, at Partyloaded Show on Twitter. Check us out at all those locations. And, of course, if you enjoy the show, drop onto iTunes and leave us a review. That's pretty much it. So between now and next week, we are looking forward to the Legion launch early next week. So
sweet. I've got an
Imogen,
exam
you're
tomorrow and then
primed.
free time. I'm very excited. I cannot wait. I will prime a character on the weekend, ready to go for next Tuesday.
Yep. Sweet. I am going to jump in over the weekend and unlock a Hearthstone character portrait in readiness.
The alternative.
That's it, yeah. Well, I mean, I've got to look at what's relevant to me, right, really? I don't know.
Fair. Which account are you going to give it to, though, Luke? That's the dilemma.
God damn it. I have to choose. That's terrible. I'll just do it twice.
Make make 2 World of Warcraft accounts.
Oh, no.
Wouldn't it just be on whichever one you've logged into?
Well, yeah, it's linked to your BattleNet, so I would assume it's the same region. Yeah, actually, that's a valid question. I have no idea. So, yeah. The regions are slightly different for WoW than Hearthstone. I think there might be one additional region, so I think we've actually got our own oceanic region on that.
Yeah.
God damn it, I have to look into this now. I hate you guys.
You're welcome.
You
All right,
created this
I'm gonna hop
problem
off
for
and do that.
yourself.
Until next week, everyone. Good night. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.